Chinedu lived in a small, quiet neighborhood in Nsukka, where the mornings smelled of wet earth and the evenings echoed with the laughter of children playing football on dusty streets. He was a mechanic, not the type with a big workshop or fancy equipment. His workshop was a small shed made of rusted zinc sheets, patched with old tarpaulin. But inside that humble space he poured his heart into every repair. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't influential. But he was known for one thing: his kindness. He fixed motorcycles for students who couldn't pay immediately. He helped stranded drivers on the road, even when it meant closing his shop early. He gave discounts to widows and elderly people. People often said, "Chinedu, you are too soft. This world doesn't reward good people." But he would smile gently and reply, "God sees everything. My reward is in his hands." Yet deep inside he carried silent burdens. His mother's health was failing. His siblings needed school fees. His workshop barely made enough to cover rent. Still, he woke up every day with gratitude. He believed that even in hardship, God was shaping his story. One scorching afternoon, Chinedu closed his workshop earlier than usual. His mother's medication had finished, and he needed to buy more from a pharmacy in the next village. The sun beat down mercilessly. The road was long and quiet. Dust rose with every step he took. As he walked, he prayed silently. "Lord, I don't have much, but please help me take care of my family. Strengthen me." He didn't know that heaven was already preparing a divine appointment. Suddenly, a loud, violent sound tore through the silence. Birds scattered. Dust rose. Chinedu's heart raced. He dropped the bag in his hand and ran toward the sound. There, down a small slope by the roadside, a black SUV lay overturned. Smoke curled from the bonnet. The windshield was shattered. A man lay motionless beside the vehicle, blood staining his shirt. Chinedu froze for a moment. Fear whispered, "What if he's dead? What if people blame you? What if police arrest you?" But compassion shouted louder. He rushed forward. The man was breathing but faintly. His pulse was weak. His leg was badly injured. Chinedu tore his own shirt to tie the bleeding wound. He lifted the man's head gently, whispering, "Sir, please stay with me. Help is coming." He waved desperately at passing cars. Some slowed down, stared, and drove off. Others honked, annoyed that he was blocking the road. But Chinedu refused to give up. Finally, a Kiki driver stopped. "Brothers, I beg, help me carry him go hospital," Chinedu pleaded. The driver hesitated, then nodded. Together they lifted the injured man into the tricycle and sped toward the nearest clinic. At the hospital, the nurses demanded a deposit before treatment. Chinedu didn't have much. He had only the money meant for his mother's medicine. But he didn't hesitate. He emptied everything into the nurse's hand. "Save him," he said. "Please." The man was rushed into the emergency room. Chinedu sat outside, trembling, praying, sweating, hoping. Hours passed. Finally the doctor came out. "You saved his life," he said. "If you hadn't brought him in, he would have died." Chinedu closed his eyes in relief. He didn't know the man's name. He didn't know his story. He didn't know if he would ever see him again. But he was grateful the man lived. The next morning, Chinedu returned to the hospital. But the bed was empty. The nurses said. The patient woke up early, asked who brought him, and left. He didn't leave any message. Chinedu felt a sting of disappointment. No thank you. No explanation. No refund. But he whispered, "God sees everything." He walked home with an empty pocket, but a peaceful heart. The following weeks were hard. His mother's condition worsened. His workshop rent was due. Customers were few. He often went to bed hungry so his siblings could eat. One night, as rain poured heavily, Chinedu knelt beside his bed and cried quietly. "God, I don't understand. I helped someone. I did what was right. Why is life still so hard?" But even in his tears he whispered, "I trust you." He didn't know that heaven had already released his blessing. It was only waiting for the right moment. 2 weeks later, Chinedu was repairing a motorcycle when he heard the sound of engines. Not one. Not two. But several. A convoy of black SUVs stopped in front of his workshop. People gathered, whispering, "Who are they looking for? What is happening?" A tall, elegant man stepped out of the middle SUV. He looked around, then pointed at Chinedu. He said. Are you Chinedu? Chinedu nodded nervously. The man walked closer, tears in his eyes. You saved my life. Chinedu stared shocked. It was the accident victim. My name is Chief Obinna Okafor, he said. I am the CEO of one of the biggest construction companies in Nigeria. I have been searching for you. He continued. When I woke up in the hospital, they told me a young mechanic saved me. I left immediately to find you, but they had no record of your address. I hired people to search every clinic in this region until they found the nurse who remembered your face. He turned to his men. Bring the gifts. The security men opened the SUV. Inside were a brand new Toyota Hilux, a large envelope filled with money, a letter of employment as the head mechanic in Chief Obinna's company, documents for a fully furnished 2-bedroom apartment, a scholarship fund for his siblings, and a medical sponsorship for his mother. Chinedu's legs trembled. Sir, this is too much. Chief Obinna shook his head. No, it is too small. You saved my life when others drove past. You gave your last money to help me. God used you to keep me alive. He placed a hand on Chinedu's shoulder. From today your life will never remain the same. Tears streamed down Chinedu's face. People in the village shouted with joy. Some knelt down praising God. Others cried, overwhelmed by the miracle. Chinedu whispered, Lord, I didn't do it for reward. And he felt a gentle voice in his heart. But I reward those who show mercy. Chinedu moved into his new home. His mother received proper medical care and recovered. His siblings returned to school. He started a bigger modern workshop funded by Chief Obinna. But he didn't stop helping people. He didn't become proud. He didn't forget where he came from. Every Sunday he stood in church and testified. When you help others, you are planting seeds in heaven. And when God decides to water those seeds, your life will overflow with blessings. His story spread across Nigeria, inspiring thousands. And Chinedu continued living the same way, humble, gentle, compassionate. Because he knew, kindness is never wasted. Heaven sees. Heaven remembers. Heaven rewards. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. May God reward your kindness just as he rewarded Chinedu.